Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Becoming So Lead podcast, a podcast dedicated to real, authentic stories about becoming your most authentic self and what that unraveling process looks like throughout your journey. I'm really excited about today's episode because I just feel like I'm in a place of transition and I want to share some of the things that are coming up for me during this transition. And I think the word transition, when we think about that, we're moving from one place to another. So you're here and then you're moving to another area, right? But it's the in between that transition that is the absolute most important part. And I want to talk about that today. So, if this is something that you're going through, something that you really want to have an understanding about, stay put. Let's go and let's learn about transitions and what that feels like. Transitions. Whenever I'm going through a transition in my life, I really find the most clarity when I have the most silence. And that's because a transition can look extremely messy. It could look super chaotic. It could feel like there's no end at there's no end. It could feel like you have no answers. You feel empty. You're like, what is going on? Why am I going through this? I need answers. Naturally, as people and as humans, we want the answers immediately. We want to know what the day is going to look like. What am I eating? You go to a restaurant and you're like, okay, I want to know exactly what is in this meal. So you're more likely to order off of a menu if you can see the actual like ingredients in that specific meal, or when someone tells you what those ingredients are. So with life, when you're in transition, you want to know the pieces or the parts of that recipe, but sometimes in a transition, you're not going to know that. You're not going to know that because a transition period is for you to move from one place to another, but also have faith and trust that the parts of that recipe, the parts of the transition, are going to create the masterpiece. Okay, so let me unravel that. So, when we are transitioning in our lives, when I talk about this, this could be in a career, this could be moving to a new city, this transition could be moving and growing out of a relationship, whether that is a romantic one or whether that is a friendship. We are constantly going through different types of transitions in life, and that's just part of life. Life is going to take you on this journey, and most of the time, you will not know the answers until you're on the other side. You won't really know what that's going to look like until you're on the other side. And then you're reflecting, you're like, oh, that's why I went through that. Oh, that now the puzzle pieces make sense, right? But when you're going through the transition, you're like, I don't know what is going on right now, and I want that clarity. So, having that clarity is super, super helpful. But also, you aren't going to get the clarity if you're constantly seeking the what the answers are in your transition rather than being one with the actual transition in your life. So, right now, I am exploring different things when it comes to my career. I'm learning a lot more about myself. I'm learning a lot more about my business. I'm learning a lot right now about what I want in my business. I'm learning more about what do I want my career to look like in the next few years. And I have to continue. I have so many questions. Like, I'm always asking questions to myself and to God or the universe and whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual practices are. I find the most answers when I am able to literally just shut up. And I find the most answers when I just sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm in a state of panic because I don't have the answers, right? I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure where this transition is taking me. So I'm all over the place. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this is taking me here and then it's going to go there. I don't know what the process is like. But when you are in stillness and when you are in silence and you take the time to sit down with yourself and say, I may not have the answers right now, but every step that I'm taking is getting me closer to that answer. Every step that I'm going through is getting me closer to whatever the transition is. So I'm sharing this with you all because I know what it feels like to feel like you're drowning in your chaos when you're in a movement in your life, when you're transitioning from one city to another city, when you're transitioning out of a relationship, when you're transitioning from one job to another job, when you want to transition from a different part of your business. You're creating a new thing in your business and you're letting go and you're unraveling and you're figuring things out. Everything's a learning process. I think when we are going through transition, we kind of think of it in like this negative sense where it's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Because when you did know what was going on and you weren't in the space of transition, everything was flowing, right? Everything was flowing and everything was good. And you can kind of just like see the day to day. But what life likes to do is life likes to switch it up. And that's part of it. That's part of you transitioning. I know that it's hard. I know. Like when we're going through our transitions and we're going through different phases of our lives, those moments are like those are the moments where you do question everything. But questioning isn't a bad thing. Being in a space of transition is not a bad thing. Being in a space of transition is part of life. It's okay. It's okay to move through that. It's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to not really understand where all of these pieces are going, and it's okay to not really understand exactly what is part of the recipe. And I think that when we're in that space, we really have to learn to just embrace it. We're always going to transition in our lives. We're always going to be moving through something in a situation. And I say this to you as someone who has gone through multiple transitions in life, and I'm still in one. I continue to move through one. And I share this as a person who truly I've gotten there's frustration. Let me just go. I've been frustrated. I've been angry. I've been upset with myself. Insecurity comes in. My confidence just goes down. I'm crying. I am confused. I am seeking and wanting and wanting and wanting answers. But what I find is when I'm doing all those things, I'm in that space of panic. And the best way to kind of get out of that space and really truly get these get the answers, and maybe not even the answers, but the to get to the other side and the other end of that transition, what can you do to actually help you move through it? Silence, taking a walk, meditating, journaling. These are practical tools that you can implement in your life to create some groundedness and not focus so much on the other end of that transition. What can you do in the in between? If you are moving out of a different space of your career, in between that, maybe there's something new you want to learn. Maybe now, because you're transitioning from a different career, you have more time to think about what you want your new career to look like, what kinds of skills you want to learn. When we're in that space, we're kind of given an opportunity to grow. That is the growth there. You're given an opportunity to actually grow through it and become your most authentic self and become the most truest version of yourself. So if you're going through a time in your life where you don't have all the answers, but you're trying to figure out how to ground yourself, think about the things you can do in between the transition. Think about where you are right now. Think about what you can do in between, and then how that can translate to who you will become. And that is the most beautiful part of you transitioning out of whatever situation you're in. You can apply this to multiple things. And at the end of the day, this type of movement in life, okay, I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, this type of movement in your life honestly is clarity that you are growing. It is clarity and reassurance that you are evolving, that you are becoming, that you are continuing to grow and learn more about yourself and become better as a person and as a human being. And that you are maybe outgrowing certain things in your life so that way you could become something else and serve in this universe in a different way. So, take that transition and think about it in a way where you're using it as movement. It is something that has been gifted to you. It's like that elevation. It's like you were here, you did great. Now let's elevate. Now let's move a bit more. Now let's keep going. And there's something just so beautiful about that. It is that confirmation. It's confirmation that you're doing it, honey. Like you are literally growing. And you should be so proud of yourself. You should be so honored that the universe gifted you with the moment to grow. So I hope this helped someone out there. And again, I'm Chelsea. I'm an empowerment coach. I am a personal growth coach as well. So I help women with confidence, self discipline to achieve their goals. Whatever types of goals you have, I am really, really good at helping you get to point here and moving through the things to get to the end. And we can strategize on what those goals are together. If this resonated with you, be sure to support in any way that you can. Share this with a friend. Please, please, please share this on social media. We're on TikTok. We are on Instagram, Becoming Soul You Podcasts. And also for anything coaching, anything empowerment, you can find our Instagram at Solely Her, which is my business. That is my coaching business. And yeah, just be proud of yourself today. Have a great day and or night whenever you listen to this. Honor the time that you took to hear my voice and take time to think about those transitions and whatever that is in your life, wherever you are, you're gonna get out of it. You're gonna grow through it. It is not the first time that you have experienced this, and life will keep going. Life is going to keep going. Remember, it's confirmation. And thank you again. Stay tuned every other Wednesday. We will be releasing a new episode. Bye bye.